my presentation is going to be on not necessarily JobberMan soft skills training, which I'll explain to you in the course of my presentation, but essentially on employability, right? Employability workshop. Um, how do you take advantage of the job market in Nigeria in terms of from the process of job search down to you applying for a job and also going for interviews? How do you negotiate salaries? These are the concept I'm going to taking you through on today. And just to also add that this is part of the Jobberman soft skills training, right? The It's part of the curriculum. Now let's start with Jobberman. What is Jobberman, or who is Jobberman? What do you know about Jobberman, right? In 2009, Jobberman was started to provide a link between job seekers and employers, right? And off from that 2009 to this moment, that singular objective has been driving all of business units of Jobberman, right? To ensure that there is a connection between job seekers and employers. So job seekers who are looking for job meet with employers who are ready to hire, and right at the end of the day we see job seekers get jobs and we see employers hiring the best talent. So in the course of this interaction, we in the course of our doing business with both stakeholders, that's job seekers and employers, we discovered that there is a a gap between what employers are looking for and what job seekers have in terms of skill set. And that is how the Jobberman employability training started, right? And by last year, we started a project with Mastercard Foundation, which is called Young African Works, to train 5 million Nigerians and place 3 million in dignified jobs, right? This is a certificate that you get if you take part in the Jobberman free soft skills training. And like I said, the training is going to be free. You don't need to pay for it. It's entirely free, right? So the essence of providing you this soft skills training is to upskill you and give you more opportunity, right, in terms of getting jobs. So with the Jobberman soft skills training, you stand a better chance of being hired by employers. And I'll tell you why when we talk about the reason why soft skills training is important. And to register for the training, the link is what you see on the screen. You can copy that. I will also share. Shola will also share that with you, just so that you can register for the training. Like I said, is totally free. You don't need to pay for it to be part of our training. Now uh, let's go to soft skills training. What is soft skills, right? And why do you think that soft skills is very important? For me, I'll use one word for soft skills, which is behavioral skills, right? Soft skills are essentially behavioral skills. When you think about hard skills or technical skills that you need to learn, right? Learn how to program, learn how to code, learn how to analyze data, right? These are technical skills, these are hard skills. When we're talking about soft skills, we are looking at behavioral skills, right? That has to do with how you act, how do you interact, how you communicate with your community, right? From your co-workers down to your family, to your friends. How do you interact? How do you relate with people? That's what soft skills essentially looks at. And there are various examples of soft skills, right? We have communication skills, self-motivation, personal development, leadership, responsibility, teamwork, decisiveness, problem solving, ability to work under pressure, time management, flexibility, negotiation and conflict resolution. There's a whole lot of skills that are listed today as top soft skills, right? Now, imagine a world where we have a lot of automation, we have a lot of, process being handled by machines. That is to say that we have a lot of processes that are no longer human intervention, however, being handled by machines, right? The only skill set that keeps you relevant are the skill set that cannot that are not yet learned by the computer, right? Which has to do with emotional intelligence, communication skills, leadership skill, teamwork, right? That's what makes you human. And the more you are skilled in this aspect, you stand a better chance when you have the technical skills, you have the hard skills. But what now makes you a great employee or a great job seeker is the soft skills that you possess. And this is what we teach, as part of JobberMan soft skills training. And just to also add that our curriculum has been standardized, has already been validated by, learning platforms like Coursera, right? That is to show you that whatever you're going to learn from us is something that can, that you can use anywhere in the world, right? Our certificate has global recognition. So it's very important that you register for the soft skills. And like I said, it's free. You don't need to pay for it. So let's go on to talk about employability workshop, right? When we talk about employability workshop, right, or employability training, the key focus is to look at various areas that job seekers, you know, uh, are going to pass through if in the course of their looking for a job, or existing employees, right? You are already a professional, but you may be looking for opportunities, right? So at every point in time, you can be a job seeker. That the word job seeker doesn't necessarily mean people who do not have jobs, right? The fact that there's a possibility of you looking for a job or looking out for opportunity there, right? It means that you're a job seeker. Very quickly, let's look at the objectives for employability workshop. First is for you to understand the importance of a CV, know how the ATS work, right? Understand how to gather your work experience and also how to write a great CV. And of course, for interviews, how to ace interviews, how do you negotiate salary? These are part of the objectives that we are going to be looking at. First of all, we'll have to start with job search strategies. The first thing why job search strategy is very important is because a lot of job seekers, when you interact with them and ask them what kind of job are they looking for, they come off with this answer that, okay, I'm looking for any job, I can do any job, I'm a fast learner, right? I can fit in into any role, right? I learn very fast. And trust me, that is one of the easiest way not to get a job, right? When you're looking for any job, it becomes very, very difficult for you to get a job. But when you have a focus, right, like what we have here as a job search process, first thing is that you need to have a career goal. What is your career goal? Right, your career goal determines your desired role. What kind of role are you looking for? And then you come down a little bit further to the industry. What kind of industry do you want to work in? You have to be specific. Do you want to be in the private sector or the public sector? Right, okay, if it's going to be in the private sector, what industry is it going to be? The oil and gas, financial sector, right? There are so many sectors, and the moment you are getting close to understanding, making choices, right, you are getting close to understanding what you really want, right? If you know that it's oil and gas, it narrows the effort that you're going to make and also intensifies it, right? You know that, okay, this is what you are looking for, and you look out for information around there, you look out for people who are within that network, right? So that your search becomes a lot more strategic, not you doing a whole lot of things that are not going to yield result. Then what type of organization are you looking for? Most times job seekers do not consider that it's very important to also think about the kind of company you want to work for. Employers think about the kind of talent they want to hire, right? Job seekers uh, are also expected to also think that way. What kind of organization do you want? Do you want to work in an organization where dress code is so strict? The work culture is so strict, right? Do you want to work in an office where there's an open policy from your dress style to the work culture, right? And trust me, each of these organizations have a different mindset, that they have a different kind of talent that they want to hire, right? And also the mindset, right? If you have the mindset of a job seeker that should work in an open policy organization, and you apply for a company that has a bureaucratic process, it's going to be very difficult for you to ace the interview. As simple as the interview, right? Because they are going to be checking off a lot of things. They'll be wary if you don't come to interview with a jacket or with a tie, right? But it's a different thing when you want to work in an organization, let's say a tech company, for instance. They're not going to care about whether you wear a jacket. They want you to probably wear a khaki, wear your shirt, right? Even if you don't even wear a formal dress, they are not going to freak out because of that, right? So this is what you need to consider. And then the platforms, what kind of platforms, right, will you find those jobs? There are jobs you can never find on LinkedIn. There are jobs you will not find online posted, right? So if these are the kind of jobs you are looking for, you know that your search has to take a different approach. Then the search material, resume, cover letter, and all of that. We are going to discuss that as we go on. Then, of course, your network. What kind of network do you have? Like, or what kind of network do you build? LinkedIn is one of the platforms where you can, grow a lot of network. You have access to directors of companies, CEOs, HR leaders of various organizations, right, that you can connect with. But first of all, you need to have a strong presence before you can build your network. So let's talk about online job search process. First thing, your social media can be one thing most people forget is that social media is one of the first way to assess who you are, like who to validate who you are. In fact, for some persons, they consider it as a CV. So when I go to your Instagram, what kind of personality do I see? Of course, I want to see. Of course, is your social life that should be out there. However, you don't want to come off inappropriate in terms of the kind of content you post on your social media, because most hiring decisions can be made based on that, right? So it's very, very important for you to always evaluate what you do on the social media. It's one of the tools that can ease your getting a job or even married. So it's very important for you to takes note of your ensure that your social media, right, represent the kind of person you want someone to see you, or they want the next person to see you, right? Not only your social media can not only be accessed by your friends. Remember, it can be accessed by any and everybody, right? And of course, by social media, right, place relevance on LinkedIn if you are really interested in getting a job with a company that is tech focused, because first place they are going to go out to look out for you will be on LinkedIn. Then, secondly, probably Instagram. Facebook and Twitter, they may not consider that, but trust me, your LinkedIn is one of the first places they are going to look through your profile to see the kind of person you are, and of course, your Instagram. So you have to be mindful of the kind of content you put out there. Then your LinkedIn profile should be maximized. Your summary, which is like your profile, should say something that will sell you out there, right? Think about yourself as a brand, right? If you want to if you want to market yourself to someone who needs your service, who wants to see you as someone who is going to deliver value, how do you talk to that person? So that starts with how your summary is being structured, the kind of skill set that you have on your LinkedIn profile, the trainings that you list on your LinkedIn, right, as well, has to be things that has to be trainings that will show that if you are being hired, you're going to be the person who will deliver the job, right? So it's very, very important that you take your LinkedIn very seriously. And of course, ensure you have a professional profile on your LinkedIn. It's very, very disheartening to see that your profile on LinkedIn doesn't really, it's okay if you are a graphics person to dress in a way that will show. Of course, if someone sees that you're a you are a creative, for instance, or you are a techie, the person can say, oh, this is this kind of person. But if you are in a consult, if your interest is the consulting sector, professional services, whether it's banking or any of the big four, whether it's in taxation like the PwC, consulting like McKinsey, you need to look the part. And if you're not sure about what a talent looks like in any of these companies, their website is a best place where you can see all of that information. Now we have talked about job search strategy. Let's go to CV writing. Like I mentioned, right? No matter how much of the how much attention you pay on the job search process, you need to have a great CV. And let me tell you why a great CV is very important. Most of the job applications are being handled, by an ATS, like that is the applicant tracking system. So this saves the recruiter the the time of going through all of the CVs manually, right? Reading through it. So the ATS system is being tweaked and formatted in such a way that it selects its shortlist candidate, the best candidate for the job. And this is how they do this, right? The job description is filtered into the ATS system. So the first stage, which is the go to market, where all of the applications are filtered in, it receives all the application. Then the next stage in the ATS is that all of those applications are qualified, right? Qualified in terms of, pass or fail based on the job criteria or the job description. Then the third the third step or the third process is that the applications are scored and ranked, right? So if the job description says 2 years experience and you have 1 year experience, of course you will rank lower than someone who has 2 years experience in that particular field, right? So all of that happens in the third stage. And the fourth stage, shortlisting takes place. So if the recruiter wants to shortlist 10 persons, right, the ATS goes ahead to shortlist the first 10 persons, based on the rank. So that's what's happened in job application process. So you find out that it's also important for you to rank yourself before you apply for a job. So take the job description, look at the various requirements, right? List all of them, then have a sheet so where you have the job description, and then you can have a column that keeps like that has a tab for you, so you can select years of experience. Do you meet that? You can say yes. Now count how many years you have against the no. For me, I think for every job, if you have less than 7, you are probably not going to be shortlisted. The best place to be is between 9 to 10, 8, 9, 10. If you are between 9 and 10, there's a possibility that you're going to be shortlisted for that job. But when you are a 6 or a 5, it's going to be very difficult for you to be shortlisted for that job. And that's what happens when you apply for so many jobs and you're not getting shortlisted because you don't rank as much as other candidates. Remember, you are not the only one that's going to apply for that job. So it's very important that you rank yourself and apply to jobs that you qualify for, not just applying for every job that you see. Right. Now let's talk about a CV. There's always this saying that a recruiter spends 3 to 5 seconds looking at your resume before they say, okay, do I want to go ahead with this person or not? Right. Now we are talking about a process that is manual. If your CV does not sell you in 3 to 5 seconds, the recruiter jumps to another CV, and that's what happens. So imagine looking at a bunch of CVs that are not looking so great, that probably starts with curriculum vitae, which is one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of job seekers make, right? You don't need to have resume on top of the document. You don't need to have CV on top of the document. You should start with your name, of course, your professional title if you have one, and then down to your summary, right? So your summary is what the recruiter will look at. So that if that summary does not sell you within 3 to 5 seconds, uh, your CV will be dropped and moved on to. So imagine when you have, for some of you that have objective, on your CV, and your objective goes, I want to work in an organization that have XYZ values and all that. The recruiter is not interested in that. So an objective does not sell you, right? Your objective is saying what you want. Your objective, you're supposed to be saying what you can deliver, right? What you can deliver is marketing. What you want isn't marketing, and what the recruiter wants is the person who can do the job. So if your CV is not saying that within the next 3 to 5 seconds, you're probably not going to be shortlisted for that job, right? So it's a marketing to think about it, right? If a marketing campaign doesn't appeal to you, you're not going to buy the product. That's what the CV does. As that's what a CV does. So treat your CV that way. Think about your CV in as a marketing tool, and you probably come up with a great CV. This is a one-page CV, like a one-page CV layout. You have a lot of, I know for if I happen to check some of your CVs, you see that some of you have CVs that are 3 pages, 4 pages. The number of pages may not necessarily be the problem, but what happens is that you have a 3 page CV that should be a page CV. That is what is the problem, right? Because you have a lot of information that should not be on that document, right? So it's very, very important that you have only information that will sell you on your CV. Look at the CV that we have here, 1 page CV, and everything that needs to be said is on the CV, right? So it's very, very important that you have a CV that has only information that says you are qualified for the job. Now let's look at how not to write a your personal details on a CV. Now on the left flank of the screen, you can see how not to write it. Right, both the one we have on the left flank and the one we have on the right flank. Right, this is how not to write your personal details. This doesn't look neat. Now let's compare it with the what we have here. Right, you have the first and the last name, the location, the email address, and the phone number. Just one phone number. But the third one we have here has two phone numbers, which is not bad, right? But I always advise people, if you must have more than one phone number, let it just be two. But advisable, just have one phone number that they can contact, and let the phone number be the phone number that you have access to. It's always unprofessional to add a phone number that does not belong to you, probably your sibling, or for people that are married, maybe the husband or the wife. So the recruiter calls and finds out that, oh, it's the husband or the wife, and the husband says, wait, I'll have to inform my wife that you have called, or I have to inform my husband. What happens if the person doesn't remember? And trust me, no recruiter want to wait for such kind of information to be moved from one person to another before they get shortlisted. So they probably go for the next candidate. So it's very important. Then, of course, your email address has to be professional enough. Your first name and your last name, your first name. And trust me, you can even open another email address if the one you have currently does not appear this way. If your current email address is not professional, I advise you to create another email address. It's not going to hurt you. You can see keep the old email address, but if you are going to be using it to send emails, formal email, you need to have a professional email address, right? First name and your last name. Now let's look at professional experience. Look at what we have at the base of the screen, right? This fellow has only the place of work, the name of company, the date. We just have 1 year here. We can't tell his position. We can't tell the responsibilities. Now compare it with what we have on the top left flank of the screen that has the name of the company, the position, the start and end date, and the responsibilities. That's how your professional experience should be written, right? Think about it. The professional experience should say, what you've done or what you do at each of the places you've worked or you are working, right? It shouldn't just be listed like we have on the we have at the base of the screen, right? It shouldn't be listed this way. So list your work experience or your professional experience like we have on the screen, uh on the left flank of the screen top. I'm sure you can see that even the way it's arranged will tell you which is better. Now include your skill set, right? Areas of expertise, you can call it areas of expertise, your core competencies, highlights of skills, but include it. And let it not be as confusing as the one we have here, right? The one we have on the top that is called skills and attribute. Now the subject, the heading is not a problem, but how it is being framed. You can see that there are a lot of skills that are being mumbled and jumbled that we can't even tell what kind of professional this person is, because you can see skill set that belong to people in human resources, the one that belong to someone in consulting, we see some skill set that says graphic design, social media, web design, networking, fundraising, so when you merge this skill set, trust me, the if it passes through a system, you can't even tell what kind of professional this person is, because the skill set are so generic. There's a lot of skill set being borrowed from various professions, and trust me, this is what a recruiter would think. Recruiter would think that you are just adding those skill sets without even having them, right? Because it's almost not believable for someone to have all of this skill set. Even if it's possible, it's not possible to have it for a particular job, right? You don't see a project manager that is also a graphic designer for that role, a social media manager for that role, a web designer, right? Fundraising, yes. Project management, yes. People management, yes. Peace building, yes. Conflict resolution, yes. But not web design as a project manager, graphic design, except we are looking at an IT project manager, and of course, what business has IT project manager got to do with fundraising? You see the point I'm making here. So it's very, very important that your CVs uh, sells you in the best possible way, right? Try not to confuse the person who is going to look at the CV, and you'll be doing yourself a great favor. Now let's move on to education. I'm not going to say so much here. You can see how this is being aligned, how it's being formatted, starting with the most recent education, and of course, nothing like secondary school education, primary school education, like most of you do, starting with your nursery, as if it's going to, you know, decide whether you are the best person for the job, right? So remember, you have to think your CV as a tool that will say that you're the best person for that role. So your tertiary education is what is very important. Your diploma too can also work. You can add that on your CV. Then when you're adding your training, ensure that you have training that relates to the job, right? Relate and professional training. Professional training. If you have taken a training that doesn't add any value to the job you're applying for, right? There's no need added on your CV. Then professional qualifications too as well, your certification, professional affiliations, you can add that on your CV. Right. So let's look at basic CV writing tips. Ensure you tailor your CV to each job advert. So that there's a caveat to this. Tailoring your CV to each job advert does not mean that you have to be applying to any job that you see. No, what it actually means is that your CV should be tied towards a job that you can qualify for, right? So, and those jobs should also be related. Remember what we discussed at job search process, so, or job search strategy. This is something that you should follow. Keep your CV short and simple. Include relevant information. If you include only relevant information, your CV will not be lengthy and boring to read, right? Ensure you have achievements on your CV, right? And check your CV for spelling and grammatical errors. Is very important. Be honest. Do not include jobs you did not do. Most times, job seekers, download CV templates online, edit. In the process of editing, you see a company in Nigeria with a location in New York, right, or in UK. That becomes a problem, right? So it's very, very important that you ensure that what you have on your CV clearly, clearly can say, oh, this is your experience, right? And also for fresh graduates, there's no need having things like managing director, managers on your CV when you are just a fresh graduate. Trust me, it's going to sound like that experience is not genuine. I mean, trust me, even it's a family business that you are managing, I mean, you can pick the next possible position. I was also in a similar position, and I had to go with administrative executive or administrative officer, right? It's not that you are trying to play humble, you are trying to play what is believable. Imagine if I'd gone with managing director and I'm applying for a job of an entry level person. So how does that sound? Imagine director looking for an entry level position. So it doesn't sound believable. You have to be wary of this. Now let's go to cover letter. Now you have a good CV, you also need a cover letter. Some call it motivation letter, statement of purpose, application letter. I'm sure is no longer in use by most organizations. So you probably not hear that. So it's either cover letter or a motivation letter. Right. Your cover letter, there's no best way of how you should write your cover letter. And trust me, do not edit anybody's cover letter. You are going to forget an information. Trust me. So the best thing is for you to write your own letter. Right. How do you write a letter to someone who needs your service? So think about a cover letter like that. Right. And follow, ensure you have a page cover letter, not more than a page. A cover letter cannot be, your cover letter for job cannot be more than a page. So it should be a page, 4 paragraphs. It can be 5 paragraphs if you have an interesting story that needs to be told, right? And in your cover letter, try to talk about an achievement, right? There's this model that is used by most standard organizations. It's called the STAR model. So what that is, STAR as in situation, target, action, and result. So they want to see what situation do you have, were you involved in, right? The situation could be that, okay, you were assigned a particular responsibility of executing a project. Now we talk about the target. What was the target? The target will probably be for you to execute a training project that will train, let's say, 1,000 young people in Ekiti State, right? In the next 2 months. That's a target, right? Then what were your actions? Your actions could be that you sought for partners, institutions, sought for organizations, development organizations that have community of young people, and you partnered with them in the course of that. You had a lot of vendor management processes in place. All of these are your actions. So what were the results? So the results, at the end of the day, you were able to successfully execute the project, and you were able to train. The target was for you to train 1,000. Probably you trained 1,100 or 1,000 at most, right? So they want to read your story as someone. So following the star model convinces the recruiter more that probably you actually achieved that, than just a liner that says, "Oh, I successfully did this," without putting up a story to it. So it's very important. You can explore that strategy in your cover letter. Right. This is a sample cover letter. I'm sure if I have the email address of everyone that is part of this conference, I'll send you a sample cover letter and a sample CV. Um, right. Like I say, here's the link to register for the soft skills training. It's free. You do yourself in 2 hours. You are done with the training, and yeah, there you go. You have your certificate, and of course, stand a better chance of, getting the kind of job you are looking for. Uh, Right. Let's go to interview preparation. Right. Now you have a great CV, you have a great cover letter, you've applied for a job, you've been shortlisted, you still need to ace the interview. And trust me, you can be a superb candidate. That you need to pay attention to is research and planning. You need to research. If you know the name of the company you're going to work for, you need to do a lot of research. Look out for the events they've had, if they've done, if they've published any paper. Take time, read one or two, right? You're going to get insight that will help you in answering the question. So most times at the interviews, they are not just looking for best talent. They are not just looking for a machine that is going to be reading out, memorized answers. They are just looking for their person, right? And what helps a company to say, oh, this candidate is a square peg in a square hole, is when you sound like someone who should work in their organization. And there's no way you can be that if you don't know about the company. You need to find that out. And your CV too as well. Your CV you need to read your CV very well. If let's say you are not the one that prepared that CV, you need to go through that CV very well. Ensure that all the information you have on your CV, they are correct and you know them, right? So it's funny when you're asked, oh, you worked, why working in XYZ company, for your job description say that you achieved XYZ. Please, can you tell us more about that? And you are speechless. You don't know where to start from, right? It's going to be a problem. Then contact your referees. If you have referees on your CV, please reach out to them to tell them about the job interview, right? But if you don't have them on your CV, fine, that is okay. The job role, you need to know the job in and out, right? You need to know the job in and out because uh the interview is going to test your job knowledge, right? This is something you're going to do. They're going to hire you as a programmer, they're going to hire you as a product owner or a product specialist or a product analyst or a data analyst or a data intern. They need to be sure that you can do that job. And how would they know? You need to know the job in and out. It's very important. Then prepare your question and choose your outfit. If it's a physical interview, choose your outfit. Let your outfit be like someone who's going to work there, right? This is just like going for is any bank interview with a red tie. I mean, you're going to appeal to their sentiment. Imagine going there with a blue tie or a green tie, if that is possible, right? You are going to look, off the book, like they are so sure you are not their person. They are so sure of that, right? And let me also say this, that in interviews, a lot of decisions could be sentimental, and trust me, the interviewer is a human being, not a robot. So it's very, very important for you to be mindful of all of this. Then common interview questions that you find online, prepare very well for them. Tell me about yourself. It's not the time for you to talk about local government you come from, that you are the fifth in a family of seven, or you're that you talk about the things that will interest them to know who you are. So you are talking about your professional experience, you're talking about your professional personality, right? You can even switch in an achievement, you can switch in your interest, and your interest has to do with, imagine a data analyst or a data intern, who has interest in machine learning or who has interest in robotics, right? That makes a lot of sense, right? Than to have an interest in an area that does not even relate to the job. What is your weakness? It don't sound like a superpower, like someone who is out of this world, right? Remember that you're a human being, and that's the time to show it. And that is not to say that you are going to say a weakness that will put you in a very bad spot, right? Can talk about something that you do that, let's say that you are the type that, you can't allow the job not to be done very well, right? That could be a weakness. It means that if you are working with a team and you see that your team members are not delivering well, you can take up the task and overwork yourself, right? That's a weakness. You can talk about that and probably add that this is something you're working on, right? By even giving feedback a lot more earlier to your team members, and also consistent, helping them out to do the job better the way you think, they should do it, rather than you taking up the task and overworking yourself. You see, that is much better than for you to sound like you are a superpower who doesn't have any weaknesses. So prepare on all of these questions, and when they ask you, do you have any question for us, say yes, you have a question, and ask a question. You can ask about the company culture. What does work-life balance mean to the business, to the organization? And if they've done any events, you can talk about it. You can ask them about it. If they've done any research, they've published an article, or there's an interview like that's any of the management of the organization have done in the past, you can ask questions regarding that, right? But it has to be about your company. Do not ask personal questions. Do not ask personal questions. So it's very important that you ask it. Not if you say you don't have any question, it could mean a lot of things, that you probably haven't done your research, you have no interest on the job or interest in the company, right? So there's a possibility of sensing a non-commitment if you say you don't have any question, right? And remember, for telephone and video interviews, they are serious as your walk-in interview where you have to go to the organization. So ensure you have a great internet. It's very, very important. Your internet has to be great, right? Not the one that will log you off in the middle of the meeting, right? And you, as much as if the platform is something you're not used to, let's say you haven't used Zoom before, and the interview is going to be on Zoom, I to be advisable for you to try, to see how Zoom work before the interview. It's not your interview that you use to test run Zoom. It is better for you to do that before you go for the interview. And of course, ensure that you have your CV by your side and all of that. And dress very well, dress very well, right? Some persons can be pissed off because of the way you dress, so it's very important that, be it a as long as it's a video interview. Telephone interviews rarely happen, but for telephone interviews you need to observe telephone etiquette. It's very important. You don't shout on the phone. You keep your voice as moderate as possible, that the person can hear you, right? Sound polite as much as possible. Trust me, the person is not seeing you. So a lot of decisions are going to be based on the tone of your voice. If the impression of your face can be also detected from the way you sound. So it's in fact, telephone interviews are a lot more trickier than any kinds of interview. So you should be twice as careful as you would have been on a video interview. Remember, you can be the best candidate in your head, the best candidate on paper, but if the interview doesn't say so, it doesn't matter, right? It's not going to matter. So it's very important that you prepare very well for an interview. Now, the last thing we are going to be talking about is salary negotiation, right? A lot of persons, when it comes to salary negotiation, think it could be from the point of not having so much of experience. When you see, oh, how much you want us to be paid, and job seeker goes, well, I mean, anything works, anything is fine. I mean, you can, yeah, tell me what you want me to be paid. The question is very simple: how much you want to be paid? So you should have an answer. If you And that's why research is important. You need to have asked questions about what is the average salary of someone who takes this position, right? They would definitely the information is going to be out there. You can ask someone, you can ask on social media. From what people say, you get an average. There are so many ways you can get this information. It's very important, right? Salaries, if you don't get the average salary, you'll be like someone who go to the market and buys a shoe for 5,000, only for you to see your friend, and your friend wears the same shoe and said, "Oh, this shoe, I probably bought it for 500. How are you going to feel?" So that's what happens. There are some organization where you have 10 persons doing the same job, but the salaries are quite different because of the negotiation. So it's very important for you to find out. If you're not so sure, and you can give a range, right? The average could be 80,000, and you say, okay, I'm interested by my salary. I'm looking at between 80,000 to 120, or 80,000 to 140, or 100,000 to a 150, 150 to 200. That's the range I'm looking at, right? But you can't say 100 to 500,000, 100 to 400,000 doesn't sound well. So it's very important, so, and be confident in interview. Confidently say that you are bringing value to the table. So do not think that the company is doing you a favor. So that is very important for you to ensure that you are confident. Do your research, be calm, right? And also ask about the whole package. It's very, very important, for you to consider the whole package, before, yes, so that you're not going to be negotiating based on you're not going to be negotiating based on the salary alone. You need to be sure that they offer things like pension, health insurance, all of these you need to consider when you're negotiating salaries. And do not give a range or a salary demand that is not you are even aware that this is not possible. An entry level position, and you're asking for 500,000. If you have done your research very well, you know that that is not possible. So it's very, very important for you to do your research before going for before negotiating salary. And we have come to the end of the presentation, right? I think I would take one or two questions. Is that possible, Shola? Uh,
Yes, sure. Prince, that was a very great presentation. As you were just speaking, I was also learning along the way. I was looking at it that assuming I want to go for a job interview now, and they ask me for how much, how much do I want to be paid? Like someone like me that I've spent a lot of time, gathering experience and all of that. Maybe I would have said something like 1 million there, but now you have told me that it's not. Right? That is not possible, especially for an entry stage. That's actually a superb one. So please, if you have any question, drop your questions in the comment section. Yeah, drop your question. But people have really been enjoying your session. Like Rachel Olori says, be searchable and make sure you are out with appropriate representation. And top of it, Oguntui Olalekan said behavioral skill. Okay. Who again is there? Oladapo says your CV serves you in the best possible way. Amazing. Guys, if you have any question, I know because of the time right now, some people have, they've dropped to some extent, but then we have about 16 people live here with us currently. So if you have any question, this is the time to ask your question from Prince, a representative from JobberMan. Or let me just say from JobberMan. All right, so drop your questions in the comment section if you have one. And if you don't have, type proceed. I want you to type proceed in the comment section so that we can proceed to the next stuff that we want to do. By the way, I would like to tell you guys that we are going to drop the link that Prince shared with us in the comment section in the Telegram community, and everybody will have access to that link so that you can go through that. Like you said, Prince, that this is the first time you'll be making a presentation at a time like this. We thank you for your sacrifice. To be honest with you, it's not easy sitting here for more than 7 hours, right? I've been here since 3 o'clock just so that the network is actually giving us issue, and that is one of the things that Prince talked about. All right. So anyway, thank you so much, Prince.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Jessica Olori says, very nice one, sir. Enjoy your salary negotiation part. I know you will enjoy that one. All right. Enjoy your salary negotiation part. All right. Thank you. Prince, I have to say thank you very much. Since we don't have question, I believe that your session was so much insightful, like people have been saying. Rachel Olori says, very insightful presentation. Thank you so much, sir. And Alebiosu says, I'm enjoying you, sir. Right on. Okay, guys, that's the end of the session. Thank you so much. We are going to drop the link. We're going to drop a link for you to go through this training in the Telegram community later on today. Thank you so much for joining us today. Guys, I would like you to take a screenshot of what you have learned today, right? Whatever you have learned today, try to share it on social media, okay? Using our hashtag. That is the official hashtag, strolling in the comment section. Strolling just down here. That is hash Ekiti Digital Summit and hash EDS 2021. But the most important hashtag there is hashtag Ekiti Digital Summit. Try to share with your friends. Let them know that they actually miss for not joining these live sessions, okay? And like we said, if you want to register, if you want to join the VIP class, okay, it is just 5,000 Naira. For those of you who don't attend the first sessions and all the sessions that we'll be having, we have a solution for you. So to join or to upgrade to the VIP class, all you need to do is visit Ekiti Digital Summit jobberman.com/VIP. And then you can pay in either dollars or you can pay in Naira. And if you want to sponsor more people to join the VIP class, it is also there. You can sponsor one person, 2, 3. I mean, you can sponsor as many people as possible. And if you want to sponsor more than 10 people, please reach out to us at info@ekitidigitalsummit.com or through the contact form on our website, and we'll be so happy, to take in your sponsorship for others. All right, people are saying, Jessica says, we really appreciate your time, sir. Have a good night. Thank you so much, Jessica. And Oweye Adejoke says, thank you so much, JobberMan. Oweye Adejoke, send me a message. I have something very, very important for you. You have been really, really active, even as a participant today. All right, and that is so amazing. Send a message to me privately, or you can just send a message to our email. Right, you've been receiving my email, so you can just reply one of the emails. Tell me that you are Oweye Adejoke, and I have a special gift for you. You have been really, really active today. Okay, so thank you so much for that. Ale Biosu Deborah says, sir, is it right to attend any interview you did not apply for and you did not know about the organization? I know where that question is coming from. You know, there are some people that will send you interview, say, you have a, please, all of those things. Most of those people are actually networking, into networking business. Okay, there was a time that, just a quick one, we are done. So if you want to leave, you can leave. But this is just a quick point. I think it was last 2 years, I just received a text. Hello, we have an interview with you with the HR, and we would like you to attend the interview in Lagos. I was like, Lagos? Where did I even ever apply for any job interview? And then, Olawale Perfect told us 2 important G's for you to succeed in life. Number 1 is what? Any other person who can remember there? Anybody who can remember those 2 G's that you need to succeed in life? Comment in the comment section. Let us know. 2 G's that Olawale Perfect told us in the morning, the very first session, that you need to succeed in life. And I want to talk about one of the G's, this evening, especially about this question, right? 2 G's that you need to succeed in life. Ibukun Williams, amazing, great. It says, God and Google, important, right? I know our content team are there. They will definitely know that, right? God and Google. So, when they told me that, I feel in my heart, I was just checking my spirit first. God, did I even apply for anything? And my spirit was not right with it. And then immediately I went to the second G, which is Google. Then I typed on Google I typed the name of that organization. And I then added Netherlands. Hey, you need to see a lot of comment that people were talking about that particular organization. Funny enough, it was, I think, GNLD or something like that. The organization is into networking business. Now, imagine that I travel from Ekiti State. I will spend like 12,000 to 15,000 naira to go to Lagos and come back, coupled with maybe hotel or eating food, right? And I spend a lot of that money just to go to one presentation and hear people just continue to speak to me and telling me something that is not, right? So please, do not attend any interview session that is sent to you without your prior knowledge, except if maybe your brother can tell you that, hey, Deborah, I actually send your CV to a company, or he might not even send a CV. Maybe it's just network with some people in a company. The person will just tell you, I've told someone about you in that organization, so they are going to contact you, and then the organization can contact you and then tell you to send your CV, and then they'll look at it and then schedule an interview with you. One of my brothers here, somebody gave him a link, right? Gave him a link. They even gave him a link to apply to one particular job, and he applied, and he came here in this office, right? In this office where I am, to do the interview on Zoom, and he got a job. Right now, he's in Lagos, enjoying himself, right? So, guys, do not attend any interview you did not apply for. Sometimes they might even scam you not even kidnap you. So just make sure that you do your due diligence. All right. Fantonas Isaac says, thanks for that fantastic lecture. Okay, thank you, JobberMan, for that fantastic lecture. Yeah, Adejoke say, you are my resource person on this presentation. Okay, are you referring to me or to Prince, who is the JobberMan? Let us know. And then Olushola Falore says, like all these bring two people. yeah. That's it. So please make sure that you do your due diligence before you go for any interview. All right, guys, I want to say thank you so much for attending the live sessions. And like I said, if you want to join the VIP, please ensure that you go to ekitidigitalsummit.com/VIP. If you want to sponsor people, you can do that also through the VIP, or you reach out to us and we'll be happy to receive your sponsorship. Let me appreciate especially Tope Akintayo. Tope Akintayo is the head of content development for Ekiti Digital Summit. He is a great writer. So if you need someone to write for you, Tope Akintayo is a good person for that. And then Jessica Olori, thank you so much. Jessica Olori is the head of our logistic team. Thank you so much, Jessica, for all the awesome work you've been doing throughout today. And also, let me appreciate Rachel Olori. Thank you so much, Rachel Olori. They are siblings, and yet they've been so supportive with this particular summit. And I want to thank my amazing, beautiful soulmate for the support so far. You know, what's it called? Perfect. Olawale Perfect was talking about his wife the other time. Me too, I want to talk about my soulmate now. But we'll not go if I keep saying something about it. But I want to say thank you so much to my beautiful soulmate for the amazing support. All right, thank you guys. We have to draw the curtain right now, and then we'll see you tomorrow by 3 p.m. Please do well to share about this. Create your DP, share it on social media. Let people know that they are missing by not joining us today. And then tomorrow we are going to have the first session we're going to have tomorrow is let me quickly check. Leveraging the power of data for business growth. This is coming from Awoshukwu Solomon, who is the analytic consultant for Google. This person works with Google and he knows what he's talking about. After that session, we're going to have empowering women in the digital age, led by Her Excellency Erelu BC Adele Efayemi. And then we have Google Digital Skills Training for women and for everybody tomorrow. And that one, they're going to be teaching you how to set up Google My Business. And please do not miss that session, right? Then we have a break. Then after that, we have a panel session on exporting tourism to the world. And we have great guys who are going to be on this session, like Michael Pekulia, Bolaji Sheung, Dr. Vanessa from India, and then moderated by Waju Akin Emmanuels. And then tomorrow, we're also going to have, social media for impact and impact, influence, and income by Eniola Adeoluwa, who is a social media influencer. And we'll now crown it like this time. We'll talk about affiliate marketing, how to make $1,000 per month. In the afternoon tomorrow, I'm going to drop with you a free ebook by which you will read even before that session, so that you'll be able to ask whatever question you have, from the speaker tomorrow. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a nice time. Bye.